everybody, and welcome to Row 60 at Georgia Football Podcast. My name is Clark Gaines. Joining me today, as always, Adam Thornton.
Boom!
And this is show number 67. Big week. We say this every week, but it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. The games, the stakes, progressively more at stake. This is a big episode, Adam.
That was a monstrous episode, Clark. I mean, we knew Ole Miss would be a fun game to go to. You know, it's an opponent that doesn't come to Sanford Stadium much.
Yeah.
And as Lane Kiffin alluded to before the Alabama game, to get your popcorn ready, we're going to say this week, it's time to get your popcorn ready, baby, because the Dogs are going to show out in Sanford Stadium Saturday night. I'm hoarse from last night,
Me
Clark.
too.
I'm hoarse from last night still, and I'm going to be even more hoarse, give it all I've got, 100%.
You better.
Saturday night, 7 o'clock kickoff, baby. Man, game day, the whole festivity, everything. We get that big home game coming up. And really, I don't know. It feels like there hadn't been a monstrous home game like Tennessee was last year.
Right.
You know, and some of the games we had in 21, I believe. Kentucky was big. Yesterday was big. But this just feels bigger, right? Because it's just another win. You know, you put another notch on your belt, another win. This win means so much, man. It's a top 10 opponent. And also, you clinch the East. You clinch the East with this win, which is always the first of the ultimate goals that this team sets for itself when the beginning of the season starts, Clark, is to win the East, get to Atlanta. That's step number one, man. And that opportunity to clinch that spot is in Athens, Georgia, with a heck of a team, Ole Miss team coming in, and an opponent that doesn't come to Sanford much. I mean, the last time they came to Sanford was 2012? Yeah, I remember that big touchdown pass that Aaron Murray had to Marlon Brown, I believe.
Gosh, you got to be kidding me. Adam, that was one of my trivia questions.
Was it really?
Early. Yeah, you already answered it, so correct.
Oh, my bad.
That's great. That's fine.
But I mean, I remember, that's just the play that sticks out from that day. It was a cooler day, and it was a late November game too, man. So anyway, I'm sorry. Sorry, Ruth, but no, I mean, just thinking about it. So, hey, and an opponent, Clark, that you asked a lot of Georgia fans growing up, man, has been a rivalry for a while in a sense, because he used to play every year.
Right.
And we'll get to that when we talk about Ole Miss and when we get to that preview. But big game, man. It's exciting. We're blessed to have Georgia football again in just the national spotlight with another big game, and the atmosphere and that crowd, that energy, that juice has got to be brought to a whole nother level come Saturday night, baby.
Completely agreed, Adam. And let's not neglect what just happened in Sanford.
That's right.
This past weekend. We're going to talk about that game. Georgia, Missouri, final score 30-21.
Big win.
Big win.
Big win.
Pretty sloppy. We've got to review that, recap it, put a bow on that one. We're going to talk about a few games from last week. We've got some great games this week coming up, like truly a good full day of college football.
That's right.
On the horizon.
That's right.
Adam, I've got some trivia for you. You already answered one of 3 of the questions, but we'll have 2 more waiting for you. And then at the very end, we'll talk Georgia, Ole Miss, preview that game. Some names to look out for.
Big one.
Yeah, talk about Ole Miss's offense and defense.
Hey, you know, we might throw a little bonus in there. We hadn't talked about this discussion, but real quick, when we get on down the line, find a little segment to plug it in. You want to talk a little playoff picture real quick with 3 remaining regular season games? Just a quick little run through, just some thoughts, just throw it out there.
Do we have to compare what we feel now to what we felt preseason?
We can if we want.
Because I'm embarrassed to talk about my preseason
No. But I mean, just where we think it can stand in some different scenarios, because that's always fun to talk about, man.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
I mean, I like it.
Big episode, baby.
Yeah. Well, let's get started. Let's
crunch time, baby.
Crunch time.
Crunch time.
I like it. Crunch time indeed. Let's talk about this past Saturday a little bit. Start with the game day atmosphere.
Game day atmosphere.
I'm going to say this. I'm just going to call out our Georgia football fans. I'm going to be critical for a second.
Call them out.
The crowd was not elite Saturday. Not impressed, Adam.
I agree, man. I thought it would be ramped up a little bit more. Definitely wasn't what we've come to know in Sanford Stadium during the Kirby Smart era,
right?
Clark. And even sometimes during some years where, man, we really weren't undefeated like we have been in these elite environments that we saw against Arkansas in 21, against Tennessee last year. Just to rattle off the first couple come to mind, man. But and I don't know. I got a couple theories of why that was, Clark.
Let's hear it.
I mean, I think it was homecoming.
I
think you had, because it's a homecoming game. I've never been to a rowdy homecoming game, but I've never been to a homecoming game, Clark, that was this big of an environment, man.
Sure.
Because you're usually a homecoming every other year is going to be Vanderbilt in October, right? Or either it's going to be you kind of have a Charleston Southern team roll in,
or a Missouri team comes in, but they're not ranked.
But they're not playing the ball that they're playing, man. So I don't know. You look at that, and you get the alumni band set the tone. Get it? I mean, we love the alumni.
We do.
Man,
We
but
sure
you know,
do.
it's a little bit different pregame feel. But you know, you get that going on, but more so, I think you have more of your casual fans who love Georgia, maybe a little bit more level-headed in a sense, not like us, just idiots and lose our voice during the game.
Yeah.
But kind of your more casual fans that don't come to the game as much. You know, that's been thinking about coming to Sanford for a long time. Had this plan for homecoming, so maybe there's more of people coming, sitting with people they haven't seen in a while. There's more fellowship as far as the game. You know, more of a conversation, more of the
family
wine and
game.
cheese crowd type deal. Yeah, I mean, I hadn't used that one in a while, but it's true. It's true, and not more the rowdy, and that's fine. Everybody be who you is.
Be okay, all right.
I heard that one time, and I was like, I'm going to say that. Instead of be yourself, be who you is, because that kind of sticks out more, right? Instead of be yourself.
Sure, yeah.
So, yeah. So, you know, so I mean, that's fine, whatever. But, yeah, I'm definitely one. I'm going to get rowdy. I'm going to get rowdy. But yeah, I think that's kind of what it was. And maybe also, even though did people not really understand Missouri was a top 15 program coming in? Or is it because that the respect for Missouri as an opponent, just people can't get the energy and juice kind of to come out, even though it was a monstrous football game and it was a 4-quarter war, you know?
Also,
and I don't know. That's kind of my theory.
Yeah.
And the Sun.
I've got a couple theories I have. The Sun that you just mentioned, it was beating on us in the north end zone. Or not north end zone? No, what side are we at?
We are the north. We're the north side.
Yeah, we're the north side.
Yeah.
I said north end zone. I meant north side.
Yeah.
The sun was beaming on us the whole day, and I mean, you couldn't hardly see. Right. God bless Caitlin, my wife. She, I think, got her contact just burned into her cornea from just looking at the game.
Now, what precise temperature's got to be coming off the sun?
I don't know.
What angle to make that happen?
Yeah, I don't know. It was bad though. Anyway, all that to say, I think the sun really did take it out of some people because everybody was expecting it to be kind of a colder day. Where you could wear your hoodie and
it was tough, man. You know, I went to the local fair the Thursday night before, and you know, we went at a great time. By the way, love a good. Everybody support their local carnival fair when it comes in, man. I felt like it was straight out of 1997. Had some Mark Chestnut playing, some wood shavings underneath where had the local food trucks come in, man. Good carnival rides. Got my daughter Callie got to ride the merry-go-round and stuff. But, you know, you buy a thing of tickets, you know, and I got to shout out Trey Adams, my buddy. He won Callie a little unicorn stuff plush animal, you know,
nice.
And also because the games weren't rigged.
That's amazing.
But I mean, it was just nostalgic. Felt like it, you know, me and my wife Kiltz were talking about that. Felt like it was straight out of 1997. And I love that area. And so anyway, we froze, needless to say, roundabout way, we froze at the Livonia Fair, Clark, on Thursday night, and then we burned up
on Saturday
48 hours later, man. So, you know, it's hard. That's just Georgia weather for you. You don't know what to dress in, you know. I mean, you just you got to just pick one and just roll the dice on it in a sense. Or you just bring a light little pullover and, you know, and you have some warm weather attire underneath the short sleeve or whatnot.
My second theory on why the crowd was not elite was when Trayvon Walker came out. And I love Trayvon. Okay. Trayvon Walker is a DGD first round draft, first overall pick in the 2022 NFL draft.
Yeah.
Love him. But my gosh, guys, he cannot call the dogs. Now, some of these players that come back, they get it. They
Thomas Davis was the best.
Thomas Davis has done a really good one.
But a lot of them, though, are in the category of not being synced in. I think that's something,
Well, he didn't hold the go long enough. It was like a go dog, sick 'em, woof, woof, woof. And all the crowd got really mixed up.
Oh, so you think that set the tone?
So I think that set the tone.
Set the tone right there?
Also,
the dogs
wait a second. One more thing that just drives me insane about Sanford Stadium is when we do the Georgia Bulldogs chant, and we'll get it going a couple times, right? That's during that, right? That's part of calling the dogs. But when, is it Brooks Whitmire, when he comes over the PA and says louder.
Yeah,
I hate that.
You don't like that.
That just makes me cringe.
Yeah, I agree. I think the key word of all pregame festivities is we need to get some good synchronization. Because you're looking at that, you're exactly right. Because it could be a little bit, you know, a little bit awkward. The Georgia Bulldogs chant. And one thing too, man, they used to be big to do during the middle of the game. Like during a TV timeout, man, the cheerleader, why we don't do that anymore?
I don't know.
Because that's when you really get in sync. You just get one saying, and it takes a few rounds, but everybody finally goes, Georgia. And that gets loud doing that,
It sure
man.
does.
And you're not going to go, Dogs, it's just Georgia, Bulldog. I mean, you don't see that anymore.
Really
I remember growing up, that used to be. And also, it's hard in an away environment when you got one little, section of fans and one little corner, and then on the other side, you got another section. And like when Georgia is doing, things are rolling on the road, and you can hear a pin drop in the opponent's stadium getting to Georgia. But I love that. You don't see that much anymore. These are traditions that need to come back, but you got to do it the right way.
Right.
Man.
One thing that I think has kind of taken over that over the years is UGA. UGA.
Yeah,
I mean, that's always been a staple, but I think that's kind of taken its place.
Yeah.
But I'm like you. I'd love to see mid-game, not just pre-game, Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah, and the cheerleaders should have the signs, and everybody, we'll get it going. It's going to take a few rounds, to get ramped up.
Exactly.
We get it, but I agree, man. And and their defense, they didn't grow up doing that, knowing that most of these players didn't.
No, they did.
And that's
fair.
fine. We appreciate it.
I just think they should be coached up a little bit more before they go.
Yeah, I agree.
Joey Chestnut, shout out to him. We got to meet the guy.
Yeah.
He did a pretty good job for not having any sort of affiliation with Georgia.
But I do agree, man, there are some different things with the pregame I think that we could change. And I'm a biggest traditionalist guy in the world. I don't know many people who value tradition more than myself, an old school way of doing things, right? But I do think we do need to make a few tweaks. Like, you get that, and what's the other? And then also running onto the field, Clark. Did you notice, running on the field? We weren't even through Krypton Fanfare before. I don't know the timing of what, but we didn't. And then, so the team's already on the field, and we're still burn, and then we're still going through the spiel of the Georgia, but Brooke Whitmire saying it. But they're already on the field, flags flying, everything. Then we go into glory. So, there's supposed to be a certain time where you hit it, and then you bust through the banner.
Right.
We're just nitpicking stuff, but it just there's not a flow. So so you're saying the fans are off kilter just from the beginning,
just a little bit, yeah. So
I can see that. That's right. That's right.
But we're gonna have to bring it this week, and let me tell you something. Once we get done with this episode, Adam, you're not allowed to talk. I'm not allowed to talk.
Oh, yeah.
We're not going to talk.
We're going to get some good
sign language.
I think we all need to prepare ourselves, get about 5 throat lozenges in per day.
That word so much.
Per day.
Gosh,
per day, about 5 of them. And, drink your beverage of choice to get your throat, good and going. And, you're just going to have to tell. And I'm sorry. But like old boys out there that might be lining up their first date looking for a wife on a Friday night, then that's just bad timing on you're just gonna have to sit there and not talk. And then if she's really interested, you don't really engage with her and you let her do all the talking, that's what you're probably going to be doing anyway the rest of your relationship.
Right.
So you're not so you're already practicing getting good form in. So if you got a date this week, just saying you're just going to have to sit there and listen, and develop that instead of doing some talking and just hope that she wants a second date. But you got to do it for the dogs, right, Clark?
Exactly.
Not for the future or anything. So stuff like that, or any big business deals or whatnot that you might have in the workplace. You might be taking some old boys out on the golf course, kind of strike a deal. You get what I'm saying? But you can't be doing. No. There can't be much chatter. Can't be much chatter this week. Everybody's got to be at their best. Their larynxes have got to be and at 100%. As you can see, mine's not right now, Clark. Mine's not
either.
Mine's not. So I'm preaching to myself. Yeah, speak of the dead. So a lot of rough stuff going around right now too. You got some fluctuating weather patterns, and your Mother Nature not working for you in that regard. But you got to prep with the right medicine. Consult people with what you need to be taking in a sense to kind of clear some stuff up and just do some throat exercises, some Al Brown cows, and some and stuff just to kind of loosen everything up a little bit. But everybody's got to be on their A game. Do whatever that may be to get you at your pinnacle. If you're in Sanford or if you're at the house,
save your voice.
Save your voice, people, and get ready to let it freaking rip, baby.
Oh yeah,
woo!
I may have to use that for the little teaser.
Let it freaking rip, baby.
Oh man,
love it, man.
All right,
so everybody's got to get jacked, man.
Yes.
It's not playing around anymore.
No, we're not.
We don't need anybody to be in that stadium that's going to sit there, twiddling their thumbs and just sitting there, on Facebook or whatever.
And waiting to be entertained.
Right.
That's not why you go to the football game. Don't be spectators this Saturday.
That's
be
right.
participants.
Yeah, be participants.
Be part of the team.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just be loud and rowdy, because chances are there's nothing better than people around you. Like when something big happens, that everybody's hugging each other and giving each other's fives and just giving some good fist bumps. And I scaled the wall
You did?
I did. I scaled the wall after Big Nazir took it down the sideline, man, because I just had to be free a little bit and not in the congestion and just kind of get out in the corridor. Yeah, and give some high fives around and everything. So I mean, who cares what people think of you when you are going crazy, man? You're just making joyful noise and being excited and happy about doing what you love,
exactly.
Man.
Just be a little undignified this Saturday. You're allowed to.
Because these opportunities, we say it time in and time again. I don't know if I said that right, but time in and time out, whatever. We're blessed to have these big games late in the season that are so meaningful. That's why you go to these football games, man. Yep. And why not take advantage of it when you're there and when you have them?
Exactly.
Leave it all on the line, man. Be excited. And tell everybody else around, too.
Let's a few more notes about the game day atmosphere. One thing I hate about Sanford, we do this stupid thing, and I texted, I think I may have posted this somewhere, or either texted you, Adam.
Yeah.
The BMW Ultimate Performance is where the crowd cheers for one of two plays that have happened in the series history. So yesterday there was a play from 2018, 19, something like that, and one from like
2012
or something.
First time we went out,
and everybody cheers for their favorite play.
Yeah.
And nobody cheered. It was too
decibel level. Yeah,
it was too stressful of a time.
Yeah,
and I just think it's the dumbest thing.
I get the crowd interaction, but you shouldn't be there to entertain people. You should be entertained by what's on the field, man. And then you should be entertained by during the middle of those breaks and times sitting next to the guys next to you breaking down the game. Breaking down what needs to be. Just good football talk. Right?
Yes.
From the X's and O's standpoint, nobody cares about your opinion of it, but I know people don't care about my opinion of it, but I think I just love talking about it, and I love hearing other people talk about it, but that's just how we're wired, and the people around us are wired. But, Clark, and then didn't old Rick Burkhalter tell you that too? Yes. Our boy Rick Burkhalter said the same thing, man, and we've with Rick for a couple of years now really been pushing the karaoke cam and how that's just been not good. But the BMW Ultimate Performance, I'll say this about it, man. I really enjoy the videos of the opponent we're playing.
Yeah.
From the past coming up, but let's choose one. Let's elevate the moment of it and kind of get a documentary of what was going on during it in a short little clip. That'll get me juice.
See, that's the thing. Like, bring on. Okay, for example, Tyson Campbell. Yeah, he made a big play in 2018. Yeah. Bring him on. Talk about the play. Interview him. Do a little bit about it. Then just show the full play. Scott Howard's call, though it's probably not very good. Just show that. I think that would bring even more energy.
Would bring more juice instead of choosing between the two. Choose one that stands out and then elevate the noise of it because you can't hear anything when it is playing. Yeah. And then kind of just do a little mini doc on it. Like a little mini documentary of it. I know, like when Ole Miss is coming up this week, pick a good play that happened,
it wouldn't be 2016.
When Herschel went over the top, I think they played in Jackson, Mississippi. I could be wrong. It was Ole Miss or Mississippi State. Ooh, I don't know. It was one of the Mississippi schools where Herschel went over the top, and they were in the old silver breeches and white tops, man, and something like that. Yeah, something like that, man, and just do that, that, and I love going back, teaching some history, respecting some old plays and some of these historic games that have been played year in and year out. But let's not go with the competition of the decibel level. Let's just boom. Let's pick one and provide the information on it and move on.
I like it.
That get me juice.
I like it.
God, they should put us. Man,
we need to consult the Sanford Stadium experience. Team.
One thing though that I will say that a lot of people disagree with, I love Bob O'Reilly and I never want Bob O'Reilly.
Oh, I agree. I'm right there with you on that. Also, I think you and I may be the only, I say that. We're probably one of the very few individuals in the stadium that can quote word for word Larry Munson's little bit
that
at
should
pregame.
Never go away. Yeah,
no, if that goes away, we're going to ride.
Oh yeah, we're right. But no, that's right. That's right. It's classic.
Well, it was good seeing and finally getting to meet Dylan Deese, a fellow DGD, a patron. A friend of the show, Adam. Finally got to meet him. He sat on row 59, bought tickets. Like, he did, the guy found him some tickets right next to you. And we were all in section 108 together, and that was really fun. That
was awesome, man. For him to go out there and find on the internet that so happened to be a couple tickets on in section 108, row 59 that he scooped up and was right there with us, and we had a good time, man. And love meeting him. Great guy. Oh, yeah. And DGD, and hope we get to see him again. Oh, he said, see you in Atlanta, SEC.
Oh, did he?
So, yes, sir.
Oh, I love it.
Planning on making a trip up from Leesburg from there. So, I love that, man. So, let's get it done this week. Cement and punch that ticket when we'll be ready to go to
Absolutely. It's an open invitation to any game. If you want to come sit with us, text us. Let us know.
Yeah, man.
Maybe we can help you find a ticket within that section. But I think that'd be fun.
Yeah,
open invitation for Georgia Tech for sure, because there's not going to be a lot of Tech fans that game.
Yeah.
Well, there may be. I don't know. That game's shaping up to be pretty big. So anyway,
that's right.
Love you, Dylan. Good to meet you finally. And I also loved Miss Harold.
Oh, yes. We love Miss
Section
Jessica.
108 gang. She's awesome. She had a homemade Row 60 button, which was just amazing.
Yep.
So my question to not only Miss Harold, but to everybody in the Row 60 family, should we just make some game day buttons with the Row 60 logo?
Absolutely.
That says Go Dogs.
Yeah.
You know,
that.
I've got a good Kirby Smart picture, like a really cool one. It's of his profile and his visor and everything.
That you took,
I took.
Yeah, that's right.
Ago.
So that's like your official picture. Yeah, it's not like you're copywriting somebody else, right?
I might not sell that. We may make some and just give them away, and it may just say Go Dogs, and right under it have the Row 60 logo.
Yeah, that's good.
Might need to do that.
Good. That's good.
But y'all tell us. Let us know what we should do with that, because I think that would be a fun idea. If we have some demand, we'll make some for y'all. Boom. All right.
I like it, baby.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. Weekly concession stands report. Adam, I didn't get sent a report this week from anybody. Did you?
I did not. No.
Okay.
I did not.
So here's in the future. Send us if you're going to the game.
We'll read it.
We will shout you out on here.
110%.
But Adam and I, we typically go to the concession stands. This time I got packaged M&Ms just in a box.
Well, tell us about that.
Right. I got them in a box, and Caitlin brought them to me, and she said, "Wait a minute. There's something wrong with these." And I looked in the box, and they were melted, right? And you think, okay, not bad.
Yeah, I mean, a little warm.
Yeah, a little warm, melted at some point in time. I ate one, and there was just no crunchiness of the shell. Like, the chocolate it almost tasted old. Like, I checked the expiration date.
Old chocolate, you say?
No, it was fine. It wasn't expired, but it tasted expired. It was really weird.
Right.
I think I just got a weird box, but not good. D-. Like, they were still edible. Shout out to our little cousin Khalil. He actually enjoyed them. So
well, that's good, man.
But
yeah, I mean, now you don't want to see that. I mean, I think you got a certain persona of what you expect your M&M to look like when you break the seal on a box, right? And if it don't look that, you kind of already sets the mindset going into. It kind of tells yourself what your taste buds already are going to tell you, even if they're good or not. I mean, I think you already developed that kind of a psychological type deal before you even pop one in your mouth.
Right.
So, I mean, that's kind of how I feel about that. So, I mean, maybe it's the presentation of it that the taste might have been the same, but the presentation wasn't there when you broke the seal at the top of the box, that already your mind triggered your taste buds into something not being there, right? Yeah. So either way, that's not good, and something that needs to be addressed. So that's not good.
What's it called? A preconceived notion? That's kind of
it's a preconceived notion.
It's just your perception,
right?
Yeah. Adam, tell me about what you got. Did you get some peanuts?
Well, I'll tell you this, man. I got some peanuts. Got a Texas Roadhouse style peanut, man, and my wife wanted to split a pretzel, a good pretzel. I'd give it an 8.6. Okay. Sanford Stadium's pretzel game, I think as the season goes on, like everything else, you get better.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, I mean, good salt ratio. I will say the cheese box wasn't great. Wasn't great.
That's disappointing.
I think we need to look into switching the type of cheese that we have in the cheese cups that we charge $1 for with the pretzel. I don't like that brand. It's just not. It's cheap. It just wasn't good. I opted just to not use cheese after what. But anyway, I mean, the salt ratio is okay on it. Good size pretzel. I'm a fan of a pretzel, man. You don't look at the carbs, but you look at the calories. You only get about 70 calories off them bad boys. Don't look at the carbs though.
No,
so
or the sodium.
So I mean, if you're looking for a diet item, get a pretzel, right?
Let me ask you this. What if they offered, instead of cheese, chocolate? Like melted chocolate?
Yeah, 100%.
That'd be good.
100%. That would be good. You keep that cold, man, because cheese, man, if I wanted cheese, I wanted it to be warm cheese, right?
Right.
And that's why I don't want lukewarm cheese or anything. I want hot cheese if I'm going to eat my pretzel with it. So anyway, I don't know, but I don't have to have a side condiment kind of deal to dip my pretzel in like most. I can just eat it dry.
Yeah.
And it's good, especially if it's got good flavored salt on it. And it was good. So yeah, Texas Roadhouse style peanuts are really good. Told Dylan, hand him a bag, said, man, we got to, it was crunch time at halftime that, we addressed what getting some peanuts kind of switch some momentum is kind of our thing, right?
Yeah.
At the Auburn game. So when stuff is kind of looking shaky, you get a bag of peanuts, kind of change some momentum, man. So it works again.
It
worked.
did.
It worked
sure
in
did.
Opelika, and it worked again Saturday. So yeah, Will Snipes said something about that as well. So I mean, everybody needs to keep that in mind. If the game's kind of, I don't know, kind of closer to what we kind of maybe expected. You know, grab some peanuts, man. Kind of change the tone of it.
So let me ask you: is Texas Roadhouse the official peanut?
Yeah,
of
absolutely.
Row 60?
100% Texas Roadhouse is. Love Texas
good.
Roadhouse peanuts. Love that when you go, you dine in, that you can get the peanuts and you can throw the shells on the floor.
They don't do that anymore.
Do they not? I haven't been to Texas Roadhouse in a long time. That's a tragedy.
Fun fact, though.
That's ridiculous.
A long
Kind of felt like you were in an old, just, sawdust floor type old.
It was, I think I may have mentioned this story. Yes. I must have, I think I've mentioned this story in the past.
That is right. They don't. I remember that now, but that's ridiculous.
A long time ago at Texas Roadhouse, we were shelling peanuts, and you could just throw them on the floor. And I thought it was okay to just discard my green beans on the floor because you just threw stuff on the floor.
Yeah.
And so I decided to scrape all my green beans off when I was a kid because I didn't
That's
want
funny.
them.
That's good stuff. But yeah, I mean, I love the Texas Roadhouse style peanut. But hey, if we really wanted to do some Georgia grown stuff, Georgia's a big peanut producing state. Let's get some peanuts from farms in Southwest Georgia or Southeast Georgia, the South Georgia, and like showcase each game from, or have different farms and have the farm. These peanuts came from Americus, Georgia,
right?
Or from so and so farm and Georgia grown with the Georgia grown sticker on that, and kind of get some of that involved and showcase our state as a state who is a big commodity is peanuts, man, and ag, and that would be good.
And I don't know this for a fact, but I feel like there are other states that grow more peaches than Georgia does.
Yeah, well, South Carolina is over to
right, and so. To me, it seems like, okay, now our major crop is peanuts. Could be wrong. I could be dead wrong about that.
You want to know what the biggest agriculture, what the biggest, what am I trying to say?
Crop?
No, the biggest agriculture commodity that makes the most money for the Georgia agriculture is, and by a massive landslide.
What is that?
What do you think it is?
Chicken.
Yes, sir.
100%.
It ain't even close, baby.
Yeah.
Northeast Georgia.
I'm talking about stuff that comes out of the ground, not
right.
Not out of the egg.
Crop. Right. Exactly. But no, peanuts are a big thing, man, and that'd be cool. Just showcase different farms.
Yes,
I'd
I
love
agree.
That,
that would be cool to have a sign. This peanut came from so and so. But also, why in the world are there not boiled peanuts everywhere? There should be.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan, and I'm not talking about the yellow packages.
No, give me a freaking styrofoam jumbo cup and put them in them. And all right, we got this all figured out. We're going to keep advocating until Sanford Stadium concessions teams reach out to us to make us consultants.
They should.
I mean, if anybody knows it, I don't know of any other podcast that gives the concessions this much attention,
me neither,
detail, and then wants to poll the people,
right,
and to make the concession stand experience great. But as far as workers, everything, it was great.
That's good. That's good. Well, moving on. This episode may be 8 hours long. By the way.
Oh my gosh! I just looked at the time.
Well, you got to add 15 minutes. Okay, we were blabbering for 15 minutes before the episode.
When you get us two together, you never know what we're going to talk about.
Oh yeah. Well, let's talk about some Clark's fun facts now.
Hit it, baby.
If Georgia wins this upcoming game, and I mentioned this in our live call-in show last week, and let me pause just for a second before I state this fact. We may or may not be doing a live call-in show this Friday. Just keep your eyes peeled.
Keep your eyes peeled. We will.
You think so?
We will.
Okay.
We will.
All right. We'll do it in some sort of capacity, but just keep your eyes peeled. Anyway, I mentioned this in last week's call-in show. If Georgia wins this game against Ole Miss, just listen. Kirby Smart will have beaten every SEC team at least once in his time at Georgia.
Yes.
That's a pretty cool fact.
Also, too, that is an amazing fact for where he's at right now. But also, Georgia will have scoreboard over every SEC team. Meaning, when I say we'll have scoreboard, that each time Georgia has played every team in the SEC, they can say they won that game.
Oh, I see. I've never heard that term, but yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So
wow,
yeah, every time Georgia's teed it off against every SEC team, because last time, of course, Georgia and Ole Miss played was that dreadful game in Oxford in 2016. I wish I could. I need to find the picture. I know I had it. My mom might have it on her phone. I know I had it at one point in time where we're on TV.
Oh, yeah.
And like we're in the corner of the TV, but the score is, it's Ole Miss like 31 Georgia nothing. You see my head above the score, and I just look depressed. I'm just sitting there in Oxford that day. I need to find it where you can post it on.
We'll talk about that game because that game was awful.
Below where we're at now, we're just laying blocks, man.
Exactly. We are going to talk about that game for sure, though. That's going to be a fun thing to discuss later on.
But yeah, man, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yep. Carson Beck extends his streak of 250-plus passing yards per game with 9 straight games. He is every single game this year up to this point, he has thrown for 250-plus yards.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
And then my last fun fact, Kirby Smart. I don't know how many people actually knew this. I didn't know this until like 4 o'clock today. Kirby Smart just tied Vince Dooley's home game win streak at 24 straight games with the win over Missouri. I think Kirby was asked about that in his post-game press conference. Man. But he said he obviously respects Vince Dooley and what he did. And
that's amazing, man. I mean, we talk about the 80 to 83 or so being the golden era of Georgia football, and we're living in our lifetime golden era, which is obviously we've had 2 championships, and this one is better. I mean, even though we love both of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess Georgia started in 80, and they probably lost to Auburn at home in 83. Yeah, I think that's that would have been right because they lost in that one game in 81 in the regular season, but that was at Clemson to open it up. I could be completely wrong on that. And 82, I don't know if they did lose a regular season game in 82 when Herschel won the Heisman, but I know they lost at home to Auburn and Bo Jackson in 83.
That would have been late in the year, right?
Yeah, that might have been the one that broke. Yeah. So I would think if you would add all the home games in 80, 81, and then all the way to the Auburn game in 82, that would be pretty close to that streak, right? Close to it. And then probably add in some from 79 as well.
Right.
I don't know, I don't know. It have to be something around that area. I hadn't looked officially, but it's got to be.
Yep. Well, let's talk about Georgia, Missouri, discuss this game, put a bow on it. I like this. Somebody asked Kirby in his post-game presser, if this was the toughest test of the season, what would you say, Adam? Like, as a fan to that question, do you think Missouri tested us more than anybody else? Just yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would too. I would say yes, definitely.
I think because they were that we got whooped at times on the line of scrimmage.
Yes,
so I don't think anybody's done that.
Right.
I say.
But Kirby's response wasn't yes or no. He just said, they're all tough,
of course,
bro.
Man. Good coach speak.
They're all tough, bro.
And he's so good at that. And that's right. I mean, it is tough in the SEC, man. And I underestimated how good. And we knew they were good, Clark. I didn't know they'd be that physical.
Me neither.
How many times I say Missouri's a physical football team?
A lot. You even told a couple of Missouri fans that on the way out, did you not?
Physical football team. That's right, man. Because I was impressed with how good they were on the line of scrimmage, man. And that's how you win in this conference.
Yeah,
that's how you win in this conference, man.
No doubt.
Is good line play, and on both sides of the football. And I really thought they did a good job. I mean, golly, what happened? How many times was Carson Beck sacked? He was sacked 6 times coming into this. And
yeah,
I know it was at least 3.
Yeah,
right?
It was 3.
So
yesterday.
I mean, good job by Missouri's up front. And one thing, we'll get to that when we break down the rest. But yeah,
well, let's start with Georgia's offense. We're about to talk about Missouri's defense, but the biggest thing that stood out to me, and even one Missouri fan. Who we were talking to on the way out, he said, you guys couldn't really run the ball on us. And he was exactly right. And I think you have to give Missouri's defense a lot of credit. Well, a lot of times we as Georgia fans especially, we like to sit there and nitpick and say, man, what are we doing wrong?
What are we doing?
What are we doing wrong? But sometimes we do things right, but the other team just makes plays.
Right.
We got to take that. That's just football, folks. I mean, sometimes your opponent just plays better on a certain play.
Yeah, and they're talented, man.
Yeah.
And well coached.
Right.
This was a well coached team. As much as we talk about a lot of drink, this was a well coached team, Clark. And I mean, I'm saying from the coordinator, I think Kirby Moore, the offense coordinator that they just got this year, has changed that offense completely. Complete 180 with that, man. And it helps when you got guys like Luther Burden and Theo Reese at wideouts, man. But Brady Cook's a different guy. I don't think I've seen a quarterback just flip like he has in a sense from one season to the other. But anyway, talking about our offense though, man, Blake Baker's defense from Missouri, he had a good game plan, I thought, in the sense of he was going to have a tight box, man.
Right.
He wasn't going to let Georgia get very balanced and just gash them on the run, man. And what he did was he had a stacked box, and I think he played a lot of man and was just like, we're going to get to Carson Beck before he could get real comfortable in there. And Carson Beck was able to hit some explosives, a few of them. And then also I think Carson did a great job of recognizing man and being able to be elusive. Even though Missouri, I felt like at times had a spy on him, and you don't think Carson Beck is a guy who just smoke you with his legs, but I think had a couple big runs to extend some drives, man, where he even though Missouri had a spy on him, which is usually a linebacker who is just his main job is to follow the quarterback in the pocket, and when he breaks containment and gets out of the pocket is to go tackle the quarterback, right?
Yeah.
He was able to beat the spy and pick up some rushing yards, man, on the legs. But I kind of thought, man, that we would start picking them apart in a sense of because we would see that they're playing a lot of man, they're bringing a lot of pressure, but they kept doing that and they got home a lot and were disruptive a little bit, kind of threw his timing off a little bit, but still we were able to execute some.
Yeah.
But, I think Missouri had a good defensive game plan, but in the same sense, Georgia was able to capitalize on some stuff too.
Yeah, and I mean, Missouri, they blitzed like crazy Saturday. Yeah. They really did, and they threw a lot at Carson and this offensive line. And there may be a lot of people that don't agree with me on this, but I do actually think the line, they held their own. With all things considered, they played pretty well. But once again, they didn't really dominate in the run game as much as I'd like to see as a Georgia fan.
And it's hard too, but when you have a stacked box all night,
I mean,
it's hard to run the football
right.
between the tackles with that,
And they shot the gaps and they got home a lot of times, and even on the perimeter, even when we did take advantage of the pressure. We would try to get the ball outside to Ladd McConkey or, Dominic on these screens. So we only had a couple screens work. We threw a lot, I felt like, yesterday. Yeah. But, man, they were there. Then they were getting off blocks from receivers. Exactly right. And not to pick on any guys, but, there were a couple times Oscar or Lawson Lucky, they'd miss a block on one of those outside zone runs or even, an outside pass or whatever on the perimeter. It seemed like they missed a couple blocks. I mean, just little things like this add up. And, all that considered, though, I felt like we played pretty well offensively. It was pretty sluggish the first half, but we picked it up.
Definitely. You got to give credit to Missouri's defense. Like you talked about, another good thing is not only were they physical up front and really won a lot of battles against Georgia's offensive line up front, and like you said, brought the house, was going to say, hey, Carson Beck, we're not going to let Georgia run on us and do what they want to do, and that is to get a lead and then establish their will in the second half by just, even though the ball's coming on the ground, that you can't stop it, right? That's kind of they weren't going to let Georgia get balanced on offense, what Bobo wanted to do in a sense, and they were going to make just Carson Beck beat him with his arm, and he was able to make plays, in the passing game, even without Brock Bowers, and have some big conversions and put up 30 points, which, I'll say this, with a Georgia defense that we've grown to expect in Athens, 30 points should be enough.
Oh, it should.
And but no, one thing, their secondary guys were real physical in the sense that we didn't have the best perimeter blocking, and some of the screenplay after that tunnel screen to Dominic Lovett for the first touchdown, man. There really wasn't much on the screen game, trying to get outside, getting the ball outside that all night.
Ladd had one, I think it was in the third quarter maybe. Where,
that's right, he didn't.
Wow, he about got clobbered, and he made a move and got up yard. Speaking of Ladd, I think he had another big game, 7 receptions for 95 yards. I mean, guys, he's kind of filling the shoes of Brock in a sense, because he makes those big third down plays. He caught a great post route the other night, and I think he's stepping up in a big way, and I'm glad to see him back and healthy.
Yeah, man,
contributing.
Another game where a lot of guys got some catches, man. Dominic Lovett, he had a few catches and a touchdown catch as well. I forgot, but he was, his yardage was pretty respectable. I can't remember. I did see it, but Ra had a good catch, a little mesh route across the middle, wasn't it? Yeah, and converted him. Man, you get a guy, big body, long leg guy in space like that, man, with big strides, and he can make some noise. And Oscar Delp had a touchdown. So,
good catch.
A lot of still some weapons in this Georgia receiving game with Bowers' absence, man. And I feel like everybody's doing a good job stepping up and everything. One thing I noticed, Clark, and maybe I just hadn't noticed it, but it seemed like Carson Beck was really having to have lower snaps and kind of like in a sense where he was like crouched down taking the ball more.
I didn't notice that.
I don't know. I kind of just, maybe that's just me. But I kind of felt like he was kind of, I don't know.
It makes you wonder if that is true, in
a sense, there were some lower snaps.
Well, if that's true, I wonder if that had something to do with the amount of pressure that Missouri's bringing. And Cedric Brand, I would imagine that might have something to do with it.
And I don't know, and it might not have been that, but it almost seemed to me that he was kind of crouching more. And then I was like, man, is he crouching when he's in running plays? Because I noticed it seemed like right before the snap, when he's leaning back, he would almost in a catcher stance in a sense. And I was like, is he doing that when he's handing the ball off? I was like, surely not, because that's a dead good giveaway and tip off your hand. But of course, he's doing it during passing downs too. I just hadn't noticed that, I guess, as much. And maybe that's just me not being keen enough to with the first 8 games and noticing that. But I don't know. It seemed like last night it was a little bit more noticeable. But who knows? That's maybe just my observation.
Well, Dejon, he had a tough 77 yards
it was tough too,
on the ground.
77 yards.
You just couldn't run on that team.
And Kendall Milton broke off a couple games.
He did. He had a good 15 yards.
There was one physical one that he came. It's like, man, that's Kendall Milton. We want to see right there, And
Carson went 21 for 32, 2 touchdowns. He had 254 through the air, just breaking that 250 mark. I thought he played well. There was one pass specifically. He stepped up in the pocket too, man. And that's one thing it's instinctual. That's one of the things that Carson has is just good instincts, good pocket awareness to step up and make big throws despite the amount of pressure that was being brought to him all night. Very impressed with him. And, I mean, unless you have anything else to say about the offense, we'll move to the defense.
No, I don't, man. I think overall, man, you score 30 points, that's good, especially against a defense like Missouri has. You got to respect the defense they play and the coaching they have from their staff, Blake Baker on down, man. And I mean, you did what you had to do, right? So I mean, that was good.
Yep. Georgia's defense. Hey, I mean, with all things considered, once again, played pretty well.
Yeah, man. I think a lot of people, are tough on them. But I just wanted to say something that I saw. That was pretty interesting that I read. That Cook completed 70% of his passes in games he played all 4 quarters and was averaging 279 yards a game and thrown only 1 interception all season.
Wow.
And Saturday, he was 14 to 30. 212 yards, 2 interceptions. He had 1 all year, 2 interceptions on Saturday, and I think it was one of his lowest quarterback ratings of the year, I believe. So when you look at that, even though it felt like, especially in the first half, he looked like Joe Burrow out there, right? In a sense, and it took a while for him to have an incomplete pass. Georgia's defense held their own against a guy who has had a solid year. And when you compare it to his stats, and it's not like it's just the 4th game of the year. I mean, it's a pretty dang good sample size so far, man. You kind of are what you are at this point in the season, right? In some senses. So, I mean, overall, you think about it. I mean, we'll get to some of the secondary play. I mean, you got to think, kind of kept him in check. And then I really don't think he beat us with his legs after some adjustments were made after the first half.
Right. I tell you, I looked mid-game. I mean, this was probably like first quarter, several minutes in. I was like, where's Kamari Laster? Because normally when I look at the corners, I'm looking at the very, obviously the guys on the outside. He was playing over Luther Burden the whole time. I don't know why I didn't notice that. And it was Julian Humphrey. You had Julian Humphrey, you had Dalen Everett, you had Kamari Laster. All 3 of them out there.
Well, that's why I text you in the group, man, and I said, we're in a dime, but we weren't in a dime. It wasn't a 6 DB look. I was just overlooking Tyke.
Yeah.
And it was we're in a regular nickel package, but it seemed like, I don't know if it's because I know Tyke got banged up at Florida, and I don't think it's because of Tyke's play, maybe because of, I thought he had a solid game
yesterday.
And he did play. He would come in some certain situations, man. I don't know if it was because of limiting him because of injury or because they like the idea of putting Kamari in the star nickelback role to play against a slot guy like Luther Burden, where they line Luther in the slot more and kind of have your number one press coverage guy on Luther Burden, and then you have young Humphrey and Everett on the outsides, man. So it was a different formation. I thought we were in the dime for a little bit, but it was a still nickel formation in the sense where you just had 5 DBs, you had those three cornerbacks, and then Starks and Bullard in deep safety spots, man. So it was interesting.
It was, and I think that's something you're going to see even this upcoming week, maybe.
Right.
You may see more Tyke Smith, but you're going to see a lot of dime and nickel stuff moving forward. I mean, especially with Tennessee. Here's one thing I'll say, and I was being too critical of the secondary play yesterday, but when I watched some film, reviewed film. Yeah. It's really not as bad as I made it out to be.
No.
I mean, there needs to be some improvement, but really, you look at it, it's not like there were guys streaking downfield, just wide open. we were there. We were stride for stride.
Yeah.
It's just now a matter, and it's tough when you're playing man to get your head around. I know that's one of our things. Get your head around. It's tough, man. It's tough to snap your head around, especially when it is one-on-one and you are on an island.
When the receivers,
you don't have any safety help.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's tough.
And I mean, you have the yard because I mean, we kept Luther Burden in check most of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, I know he had that touchdown, the first one they had, and you could argue he pushed off. That was offensive pass interference, but we're not going to say all that.
No.
I mean, but still, after that, he, I think, had a quiet day, man. And you think about it. I mean, was it the adjustment to put Lassiter on him most of the game, kind of letting Lassiter play the slot, kind of a more of a nickelback type deal? I don't know, man. But it was I think when all things considered and what I read, the yardage of what Brady Cook was averaging in the passing game, man, and what Georgia held him to yesterday, and also forcing a couple interceptions, man. That it was good. You know, I mean, we'll talk about it. I think Julian Humphrey played a good game.
Yeah,
I think the pass interference call he had on him, I don't think that's something to really get upset with him about, because I think it was a questionable call.
Oh, it was.
I mean, it was.
Are you kidding me?
It was ridiculous. I'm not going to be one of these that just the refs suck, because I think that's some mindsets of some other teams that are underneath us in the SEC, right? But I mean, officiating wasn't great, and we'll say that. And I don't think that call was good, but I think Humphrey is a guy that's highly regarded, did good, and we've talked about Dalen Everett, and I really don't want to everybody saw what they saw yesterday, and I think Theo Reese is a guy that, a lot of the times there were some good jump balls to him on third, fourth downs. That Theo Reese just made a play over Everett. Everett didn't get, whatever. I'm not going to just sit here and bash him.
No.
Because if there's anybody who gets secondary right, I think Fran Brown's a great secondary coach, and
also Kirby Smart. I was about to say,
obviously. So I think we'll see where secondary play goes from here. Yeah. Going to be some tough tests coming up, man.
Absolutely. So, a few more notes on defense. First of all, Jamon Dumas Johnson is rumored to have, and we don't know the extent of his injury right now. It's Sunday night for us. We don't know the extent of his injury, but we are hearing there's like a fractured
forearm.
Something or another in your forearm.
A fractured forearm, and it looked to me when he was running off the field, Clark was holding his shoulder, because I kind of thought maybe it's a stinger.
Right.
Or then maybe he just popped his shoulder out of socket or something. But, it turned out to be, he must have been holding it like this, and I thought he was up here, fractured forearm. So I don't know what that means, man, but what it means if he can't go is a young linebacker is going to have to step up.
Yep.
And there's some talent there, man.
There really is. We got to see old Raylan Wilson and then C.J. Allen a little bit more.
Yeah. I like the speed of both of those guys.
Yeah, me too.
Sideline. Yeah, and I think they're going to be great. But it'll hurt though. Tien's made some plays for Georgia, and I think he's a leader out there. A guy who signals some plays in at his middle linebacker spot. And I'm a guy who's played a lot of football for Georgia and loves Georgia, and I love him. And hopefully he'll get healed. And by the time this comes out, we get some good news on him.
Yeah, hopefully so. And then let's talk about the elephant in the room. And this guy is probably the size of an elephant. He's awesome. Nazir Stackhouse.
God, that was awesome,
Adam,
man.
God, what did you do in that moment?
I scaled a wall.
You did?
I scaled a wall, and I went out in the corridor and just high-fived some fans. Just needed to let loose a little bit.
Yeah. It was funny.
I want to do that.
Right. Oh, I was sitting in I was sitting in the same section as you, row 52, just because, demand of these tickets are crazy nowadays, and a lot of people want to be at the games. And anyway, all that to say, I looked up and I was like, wait a minute, where's Adam? Because I was trying to, normally I'll point to you and we'll give each other a fist bump, but then you were gone. You'd scaled the wall. So.
Just one, I don't know.
It was so fun.
Unnecessary, but just felt right in the moment, right? So,
yeah.
But I tell you one thing we do have to address before we end the defense, man, because everybody's going to talk about it. Clark, what is your thoughts on the edge? Have we talked about the edge ever before this season and contain?
No, we've never talked about that. Adam, I'll trust what Kirby says.
Kirby says.
It was frustrating.
What Kirby says, man. Yeah. Cody Schrader's a physical back they have, but crazy story. D2 guy, and now the second leading rusher in the SEC, might have overtook it. Had a 100+ yard game, but they gave him the ball a lot. And
I was about to say, when you rush for, you get 22 carries, you should have 100 yards.
Right.
You should.
Right.
Get close. But, it was tough watching him run as much as he did. Once again, though, it really wasn't that. I mean, they ran the ball, but it's not like they just shredded us. It felt like that. They got,
when you look, it always feels worse in the moment.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
It always feels like they could just run it off tackle and
right.
they're just getting a 10-plus yard run for a minute there. But I know that wasn't true. But
going back,
emotions get to you as an average fan watching the game.
Yeah, it's frustrating. But Kirby said, he was asked about it in the post-game presser, and he essentially said, listen, guys, they run the stretch better than anybody.
Good point.
In the country, really.
Yeah, I mean,
and I'm going to take his word for that because
I like that.
That man knows way more about football.
Let's just leave it at that and see what happens. I mean, you got a team that can run the stretch coming up too. So see what adjustments made, and I have all the faith in the world, And I mean, it's kind of we are what we are at this point with the defense line.
Exactly.
I mean, I think they're still a good line, man, but definitely not what I'm eating crow for what I said about them preseason, in the sense of being one of the best. But I still think they are a good line, man, and having Ingram Dawkins back is great. And I'm excited to see how it finishes.
Yeah, me too. Georgia special teams, moving on. Huge field goal for Peyton Woodring. Career-long 48-yarder.
Yeah.
Adam, I had to sit down for that one.
No, I did too. That was a nerve-wracking situation, man, because, I mean, you can't help but as a fan thinking, man, if he misses this, there's like 3 minutes left, 4 minutes left on the clock. Oh, golly.
They could beat us
you could lose by 1 point, and you lose 28-27. But nah, man, he drilled it, man, ever since after the South Carolina, in Auburn. And Auburn, really, I think, is where it's just like, man, he's been automatic. Great freshman kicker.
Yep.
And
good on him, man.
Settled in, done great.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, overall, I think it was a great win, Clark. Great win.
Another thing about special teams, Brett Thorson, I thought, did a fantastic job yesterday flipping the field. He had one bomb of a punt. I missed a golden opportunity, Adam. Listen to this. So
did you know?
I was sitting in row 52, and we had some people beside us leave to go to the concession stands, probably to get some disgusting M&Ms or maybe some third quarter peanuts or something.
Right.
Anyway, we had some Australian guys.
Did you?
Come sit down right beside me.
Clark.
They said they were on a study abroad thing, and I was like, man, this is a pretty good time to probably ask them about
the culture.
Punter. The culture.
The punting culture, the punt phenomenon.
So I did ask them
all
a little
across
bit.
the Outback.
Right. I did ask them about college football. Is it a growing thing there in Australia? Because I've known some guys to come over here from Australia to come like tour the SEC and look at the culture.
Oh.
And they said, it's kind of growing. It's not, I wish I could do an Australian accent, but they said it's kind of growing. But I should have. I don't know why I didn't, but I didn't think to ask him about Brett Thorson.
That's going to be an all-season study.
Yeah. We're saving it for. We're going to take a trip over there to Australia to the Outback.
Tell you what, man. I mean, boomerangs, kangaroos, and punting.
Yeah,
that's what they do in Sydney.
Heck yeah.
As far as I'm concerned,
Adam, do you know another town or place in Australia?
Melbourne. Is that right?
Nice. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Absolutely.
Good job.
Yeah.
You know your geography. Not much else to special teams. I think Mackay had a couple of man, I'm telling you, there was one kickoff return. There was a gaping hole.
Yeah, there was a hole.
And he almost had it.
But yeah, that was close, man. That was close. But yeah, good job, man. I just love good, clean, fielded punts.
Wait. Do you remember the very first kick?
Oh, yeah.
And Dylan Bell. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, but good job on him, because in that situation, I'd be scrambling, panicking, trying to get the ball and probably just kick it 10 yards closer to the kickoff team to field. But good job recovering that. But yeah, that could have been.
Yeah. And one last thing. We kicked to them one time. Their guy, he caught the ball. How did this work? Oh, he caught the ball within the field of play, not in the end zone, but then he kind of like backed up into the end zone, and then he just decided to bring it out. Really? You not remember that?
Really? I don't remember that.
This was right after, I think this may have been the start of the third quarter, maybe.
Yeah.
You don't remember that?
No, I don't remember that.
We pinned them at like the 4-yard line on a kickoff. You don't remember that?
I don't remember that. Maybe I can't remember.
Anyway.
I'll go back and look at that. But
yeah. Anyway. Last week.
Wait a minute. Yes, I was kind of going to the concession. Yeah, and I saw it. Yeah. I wasn't in my seat at the time.
Oh, okay. That's you were scrambling back to get to your seat.
Yes. And I was, yes, because
I got you. Well, last week's games, let's talk about them right quick. Notre Dame anything else?
No, the last thing I want to say about it, and this really shouldn't even be mentioned, but I just thought it was funny, man, that there was a couple times Brady Cook wasn't ready for the snap, and it just like fell in his lap, and he just tossed it up.
Yeah,
it
just
wild.
Unbelievable.
Anyway, no really reason to pause that to happen, just to add that. Just I'm just throwing that tidbit in there.
Okay, if we're going to say, let's say one more thing about Missouri, right?
Why not?
Eli Drinkwitz is such a crybaby. He's just a baby.
He pulled a Shane Beamer, Clark.
He sure did.
He taunted the north side Georgia fans up there in the north section. Eli did the same thing before the half, and both left with a L.
You mean Shane did that? Both Shane
and Eli both did it, respectively.
Gosh, idiots. Yeah, I mean, it was after that passing interference call that was ridiculous.
You got to keep your emotions in check. You just can't. I mean, it's insane how these SEC head coaches just let their emotions get the best of them. Going to look at the crowd and start doing just some antics.
Yeah.
Just some foolery.
Which ended up firing us up even more. So
yeah.
Jokes on
just
him,
ridiculous. But yeah.
Eli. All right. Let's talk about another.
Book closed.
Yes. Let's move on. Another guy that we just don't like, Dabo Swinney.
Clark.
He won the game 31-23.
You better get on the Robin Hood and get your Clemson stock right now, brother.
Why is that, Adam?
Because old Dabo says you better be getting it now. Because I guess he's meaning it ain't going to be any lower than it is now.
Yeah.
They're going to keep right. They're back.
Buy low, sell high.
They're back. They're back is what the word is out of Clemson.
They're back to go to they're about to go to the Belk Bowl.
Yep, that's right. Well, Bowl. They really need to give the game ball to Tyler from Spartanburg.
Yeah. Oh,
really kind of lighten the spark.
Don't you mean Tyler?
Tyler. Yeah, nobody's going to talk to Dabo Swinney like he's a 12-year-old, and I guess that's the juice that was needed to beat a Marcus Freeman coached Notre Dame team in Death Valley. But whatever, good. They're 5-4 now. Big game against Georgia Tech coming up. See.
Hey, tickets start at $14 to that game.
Kidding me? And it's at Clemson. They didn't even have Bobby Dodd.
No, in Death Valley.
That is hilarious, man.
Yep.
God.
Oh, man. Oklahoma at Oklahoma State.
I love this, man.
You called this.
Love this, man. So happy for Mike Gundy, a lifelong Oklahoma State Cowboy. I love Mike Gundy, man. Love what he believes in. Loves what he does, man. I think he's been an assistant coach at Oklahoma State, played Oklahoma State, been the head coach there for dang near, golly, since Les Miles left there to go to LSU. And you do the math on how long ago that's been, 2005. So been there forever, played Oklahoma forever. Oklahoma best them, like I talked about in the last podcast a bunch, man. And of course, one of the big deal of it is Bedlam. The Oklahoma State game is like the second longest rivalry in college football, I believe. Played a lot of meetings consecutively, and it's not scheduled for the foreseeable future. So to get those bragging rights for Oklahoma State beating them has to be a big win for those fans, and also puts them in the driver's seat to make it to Dallas for the Big 12 championship.
That's unbelievable. Yeah, Oklahoma State winner in that game, 27-24. That was a fun one to watch at the end.
Good for them. So I love. I'm not a Brent Venables fan by any means, so I love seeing Oklahoma fall apart. Not an Oklahoma fan, period, either. So
yeah, I'm not a fan of this guy either. We talked about. I just don't like Lincoln Riley. He got beat 52-42 by Washington.
Man.
And hold up,
no defense.
No defense, none. I didn't really watch this game, but I will say this: did you see Caleb Williams? After the game,
I did.
Go into his mom and cry.
I did, man. And, it's funny. Just what comes around goes around.
Exactly.
In the sense of, I remember when Max dug in, I saw this today. When TCU lost Kansas State, that heartbreaker, and Duggan was crying, at the press conference. Caleb Williams tweeted out LOL.
Yes,
LOL.
LOL. It was a picture of Max Duggan just sitting there crying.
Of him,
right.
Yeah, crying like that. And then, there's a picture of him in the stands with his mom and then putting a piece of paper over,
He's just a punk, and I don't like the kid.
Yeah, I don't think he's. He's a talented individual, but I think he really needs an attitude adjustment. Somebody, and it's sad to see, man. I want somebody with that much talent to be able to, be thankful for it and utilize it the right way. And I hope there's some mentors and people in his life that could kind of say, hey, you got a heck of an opportunity here, man, that you worked for, the good Lord's blessed you with. Let's have this mindset with and make the best of it. But right now it appears from the outside that I don't know what'll come of it. But definitely talented, but just not working out good. USC. Right. Who knew to be successful in college football you had to play defense?
Well, they did just fire Alex Grinch.
I saw that.
Like within 30 minutes of this episode.
Yeah, man.
Started.
Terrible defense, man. So it'll be interesting. I'm sure they'll get a big name guy out there, and we'll see how it goes.
They're going to get Glenn Schumann. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I'll probably get old Jim Leonard, the old Wisconsin defense coordinator. I can see that. Or maybe one of these guys. Like, what if Zach Arnett gets fired? I don't know if you would even consider him a big-name defense coordinator, even when he was a coordinator. I mean, solid guy. Ran an upgrade over what they got.
I was about to say, anybody,
right?
I think you or I, or both of us, could
Green.
potentially.
Right.
Adam, would we give up row 60 to go be a USC defense
coordinators?
Co-coordinators.
I mean, if they pay enough, yeah. I mean, we got to pay the bills, man. Support the family. So money talks.
What's the least amount of money you would take to go take that position with me?
Oh, but then you got to factor in living in Los Angeles. Yeah, never mind. All right, what's that? Forgot about that. No.
Oh, man. All right, LSU at Alabama.
No offense to anybody who might be listening who lives in the Southern California region. I mean, like I said, everybody is who they are. Everybody needs to live where everybody is happy living, and I'm glad everybody doesn't want to live in Canton, Georgia.
Yeah, me neither.
So anyway, that's what I said.
Man. LSU at Alabama, 42-28. What a fun game this was. Crimson Tide won, and they look good. If you liked offensive firepower.
If you like quarterbacks with a ton of rushing yards, breaking the pocket,
you would have loved this game.
Yeah.
Golly, it was a fun one to watch. But Adam, I'm telling you, Alabama, we started, we wrote, let's eat some crow here. We started writing them off a little bit.
Yeah, and it's almost like wishful thinking. You just want to wish it into existence, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I think they're like Georgia, Clark, in the sense of when you haven't established a culture of just winning, you just do it. Mm-hmm. It might not look pretty at times, then it looks dominating at times, right? You just win, especially at the house. I know they lost to Texas and Bryant Denny, but good game. I think Jalen Milroe Clark, unfortunately, has keeps getting more confident in his role. Man, I think he wanted to be a pocket passer, and I think he has had a little bit of success with that. But seeing natural when he has running lanes, he takes off, and you saw more of that elusiveness that he has, man. And I think you saw some of their younger running backs get some totes and be good, but no doubt they're getting better. No doubt if it is like what it looks like, Georgia, Alabama, and Atlanta, it'll be a slugfest, man, and it'll be tough. But I think before we talk about the Alabama offense that's found itself in a groove, you got to look at the overall stats and how bad the LSU defense is coached. Yeah. And I mean, Harold Perkins, man, what happened to him? Are they playing him on the outside, letting him be a pass rusher now? Is he still on the inside?
I haven't even heard his name.
And the secondary, man, is bottom of the barrel. On their top of a lot of attrition at cornerback, some discipline stuff. I think just in the secondary, some just bad stuff happened. Adverse have to overcome with that in a sense. So LSU's defense is not a good litmus test. I feel like it would be in years past, but still, nonetheless, you can't take away that they're looking like they're hitting their stride at the right time, looking scary, building some confidence, man, and definitely a team that. If you don't show up for it, will beat Georgia. I hate to say it. And a team that not only if they beat Georgia can win the national championship, but you don't want.
This is one of those sleeper teams, that could definitely backdoor their way in, despite having lost that game to Texas. I mean, that's a quote unquote good loss for them.
But they're getting better and they just keep finding ways to win. And Milroe's looking more comfortable each week. But I still feel confident in that matchup. We'll get to it this time in the sense. And I want them. I want Alabama. I want to be the ones to end it. Yep. It ended, and it's a heck of an opportunity to end their playoff hopes, man, and win another SEC championship. Mm-hmm. But hey, what we got to do? We got to clinch it. We got to get there first. Yeah, that's this. We got
to win. That's right. This week's pick'em. Let's roll through these quick.
Sir.
Michigan at Penn State, 12:00 Fox. Man, this is a fun game.
This is a fun game, man. Fun game in Happy Valley.
Happy Valley, indeed. Taking James Franklin, or are you taking Jim Harbaugh and all the stuff that's going on with them?
I just told you before we recorded this, and then when people are listening to this, it's probably, if it does happen, which I don't even know if it'll happen, it could be out in the public. And if it does, Clark, I think it's going to be something that's going to motivate Michigan. I think Michigan, even more so, Michigan will beat Penn State. Or it could be too big of a distraction. Penn State wins. But I'm still going with Michigan to beat Penn State. Penn State's quarterback play, even though I thought they were getting somebody better, I just don't think it has been great. And I think they've struggled ever since the Ohio State game. Haven't seen them play, but just like I know against Indiana, they didn't look too good. Yeah. I don't know who they played last week. Heck, they might have blew them out of the water. Maryland, they did blow them out of the water, didn't they? Pretty good. So throw that away for whatever I just said. Oh, now I'm going to change it. Give me Penn State and Happy Valley to beat them. Too much turmoil going on in Michigan, maybe. And maybe without Jim Harbaugh on the sideline. Or either they're going to be fighting back against people. I don't know. What do you think?
I really thought this would be a night game. Like, genuinely preseason, if you had said, what time would this have been? I would have probably bet my house on this being a prime time game. Right. because it's a 12 o'clock nooner.
Well, that's the big one in Fox now. You know, their primetime games are at noon.
Right. I'm telling you, Adam, there's something weird about this game and just what's happening in Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Right.
Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Right, correct.
Penn State's got a heck of a defense.
That they do.
Michigan has a heck of a defense. But
they do.
I don't know. I mean, this really is going to come down to who's going to make the plays, who's going to step up.
Who's going to win the line of scrimmage.
Yep. Heck, I'll go with you.
Let's go Penn State. Why not?
This just sounds ridiculous.
Why not?
Maybe we're going to sound like geniuses this time next week. I don't know. Anyway, I'll stick with Penn State, but it's going to be a fun, close one. Fun matchup there at noon. Alabama at Kentucky, 12 o'clock ESPN.
Ooh, that's a
Adam, this is one you said. I got to bring this up. Kentucky is beating Alabama preseason.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to bring that back up.
Yeah, I did.
Do you want to?
I own it. I own it.
You want to stick to your guns here?
It's not necessarily the environment I thought it would be.
Right,
I thought it might be a 7 o'clock kick. Kentucky be a little bit more successful. Really, really cold in Lexington, right? Maybe possible snow flurries. Nick Saban having to wear a parka to stay warm with some gloves on. You know, kind of that deal. Kentucky maybe only lost a couple games or one game in a sense. You know, a little bit more excitement. Look, hey, they did go on to Mississippi State, and they have some demons in Starkville, Clark. I know that sentence isn't much said about teams, but Kentucky's had some demons in Starkville, and they won 24-3 the other night. So Alabama coming off a big emotional win. I said it in the preseason. I'm not a man to go back against my word.
I love that.
Kentucky.
Okay. I love that confidence.
I have no reason why, but
I
said it in the preseason.
Listen,
but
what do we say about Kentucky football?
A house on it. Huh? What
do we say about them?
They're a physical football team, Clark. They're built from the inside out.
Exactly.
On the line. And now this year, I don't know. I don't know.
Hey. I'm telling you, listen.
Wild stuff happens at Kroger Field, right?
Let's remember what happened to us.
It was cold.
In Kentucky last year.
It was cold.
And the game was what, 16-6?
16-6. Yeah, 16-6. That is right, or 16-7, something like that. Yeah, 16-6.
I'm telling you guys, that could happen. I'm gonna stick with Alabama.
Well, I think too, man. But Alabama's a culture that overcomes it. But I mean, it's hard against a big rival to come and, get that juice back up, especially a home night game against LSU, big 14-point win.
Right, and then go on the road.
Then go on the road to Lexington, Kentucky at noon, man. I don't know. No,
that'll be fun. We'll keep our eye on it.
We'll keep our eye on it. But I'll stick to my guns. I mean, whatever.
I like it.
Whatever.
It's not like you're getting paid to say
That's right.
This, right?
That's right. I'm not paying. I'm not betting on it.
That's
I'm not
true.
putting my money
Thank
there.
God you aren't doing
I'm
that.
not putting my money where my mouth is on this. I'm just putting my mouth out there.
Yeah, there you go.
Rambling. Yeah.
Low stakes. Georgia Tech at Clemson, also low. This is just a low stakes game. 12 o'clock ABC. Tickets at, if you're not doing anything Saturday and or maybe you're coming to the Georgia game, maybe we just swing on by Clemson, South Carolina and go watch this just pillow fight. I'm going to use your terminology.
Yes.
Pillow fight. Georgia Tech at Clemson, 12 o'clock ABC. Hey, this actually will be
at
a fun
$14.
matchup. $14? Not bad, man.
Tickets are at $14.
$14.
And it's not at Bobby Dodd where you get the package deal, getting a free Coca-Cola and a hot dog, right?
No. Adam, who do you like in this game? Oh, gosh, don't tell me you're about to. Hey, wait, no, hold on. This is a gigantic meteor game, right?
Yeah, big meteor game.
Now tell me who you're going to pick.
Georgia Tech.
Oh, man. Adam, they played really well on the road in Charlottesville.
I know.
Beat the brakes off Virginia.
They did. And this is stupid going Georgia Tech because Clemson, might got it back a little bit, but wouldn't it be just comical? I think I'm comical.
Wishful thinking.
And I mean, I hate seeing Georgia Tech, but I just think how hilarious should be after Dabo did what he did last week and then go turn around,
poop the bed,
lose to Georgia Tech.
Oh man. I mean, hey, it's the environment. 12 o'clock, man. Death Valley is going to be rocking.
Electric.
Are they going?
Who are you going with?
Are they going to massage their pet rock?
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, of course they will.
I'm telling you, that's the most overrated entrance in college football. You know what?
I
tell you what, though, Tech kind of is on a roll. As much as I hate to admit it, I'm gonna go with Tech.
Yeah, why not?
No, I'm gonna go with Clemson.
Yeah, Clemson's gonna win, but I just whatever. I don't really want to pick it. Next,
Miami at FSU, 3:30 ABC.
Ooh, rivalry right here, man. And Tallahassee.
This is a rivalry game.
It is a rivalry game, Clark. Give me Florida State.
Yeah, I'll go Florida State too. That's a safe bet. Nothing really else.
Nothing.
Much. Miami may come in and make a little noise first,
potentially
for one drive,
Potentially.
and then be done. Utah,
It
Washington.
might be tough for them with that. It's Florida State home talent. Anyway, go ahead.
Miami's looked awful this season too.
Utah, Washington.
Utah at Washington,
Dang,
3:30
man.
Fox. Listen, there's a lot. Listen,
In Seattle.
there's a lot of good games that I'm leaving
Dang,
off.
there's
too.
some really good football. I
There
didn't
is.
realize we had this kind of football going on.
Yep.
Oregon's playing USC too, right?
I'm leaving some off. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Give it to us,
Miami, Utah at Washington, 3:30 Fox. I'll stick with Washington.
Yeah, in Seattle, I think this would be a game where I would pick the team that was playing at home, and I think Seattle is a tough environment. Give me Washington.
Yeah. I mean, it's looking like too the Pac-12. If they're going to get in, Washington's their best hope at this point.
I mean, Oregon.
Oregon could
if they
revenge.
avenge their loss against.
But
Let's talk about that. Let's just wait. We'll talk all about that.
I just said that game. Tennessee at Missouri, 3:30.
Bing.
I butchered it. I'll just let you have it.
Butchered it
Sorry.
too in the middle of that.
We haven't done that in a while.
Well, there's not a lot of bombs left to do, Clark. Until we're
true.
going to be doing bombs for Indiana at Rutgers
Yeah.
next year.
Tennessee at Missouri. Wow. Hey, here's the thing, and I want to remind people of this. If Tennessee loses this game, we clinch the East.
Already. So
no matter what.
We would
Before
know.
we kick off.
Oh, that's a good point.
But Missouri would have to beat Tennessee at home.
And they will.
You think so?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. Give me the Missouri Tigers winning in Columbia. Getting refocused after, heartbreaking tough loss from them in Athens, man. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
After I saw what I saw this past Saturday, I'm actually going with Missouri too.
It's going to be tough, though, man. Getting an emotional game, getting up against Georgia, and then Tennessee's kind of walks away with a 59-3 win against UConn. A little bit more. It's kind of tough. But at home, maybe Missouri. Just Missouri.
Well, here's the thing about Missouri. No, they lost to LSU. I was about to say. Never mind. Forget I said.
Still 10-2, 10 wins on the table.
Right.
Missouri easily can win out because they got Tennessee. 10-2 season from Missouri and for Eli would be huge, man. Huge for him. Probably a pretty dang good bowl game too, looming. And all they have to do is beat Tennessee because then they got a train wreck Florida team, and then I hate to say it, but a train wreck Arkansas team as well to close out. So very easily could go 10-2, be a 10-win regular season for Missouri if they beat Tennessee this week.
Right. And then lastly, Texas at TCU, 7:30 ABC.
Boy.
This might be a trap game, and that's why I put
You
it on
think
here.
so?
TCU's not good.
No, they're not.
But-
Give me Texas.
Okay. You're taking Texas.
I'm going to take Texas.
I'll take Texas too, but it's going to be close. It's going to be closer than what people think.
All right.
This might be TCU's Super Bowl this season. They
Could
don't.
be.
I feel like they
Could
may
be.
not like Texas. It might be kind of a rivalry thing or
I
something.
think their primary one's Baylor, but yeah, man, they don't like Texas.
Yeah. All right. Some trivia. I
Or
hope you
SMU.
weren't.
Yeah, but
I
anyway.
hope you weren't looking at any of this.
I was not looking.
Okay, good.
at any of
Perfect,
this.
perfect,
You
perfect.
said I already answered one from the rip.
You
right?
sure did. You sure did. And we'll say this again. So my question was going to be, in 2012, Georgia and Ole Miss played in Sanford. In that game, Aaron Murray threw a 66-yard touchdown off a play-action pass to which Georgia receiver?
Marlon Brown, number 15.
Brown. Yeah.
Remember it like it was yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Marlon.
That was a
He
good
one.
play action. That was a David Green type play
It sure
action,
was.
too. I remember that. Because he held the ball down like
Yeah,
that,
he did.
too, didn't he? Yeah.
I read
Poor old
something.
David Green.
I read something on ESPN before the show started that Aaron Murray didn't want to tell David Green about that play. I think that was when David Green was doing some broadcasting, maybe. And Aaron Murray didn't want to bring it up with him in case, he didn't want it to jinx.
Yeah, I got
jinx,
you. Yeah.
Anyway.
How about that? That's
kind of
cool.
funny.
That's a good fun fact.
Can you name, so this is my second trivia question. Can you name 3 current NFL players that come from Ole Miss?
Oh, yeah, I think. Laquan Treadwell.
Yes, he plays for the Ravens.
Yeah. What's DK Metcalf?
DK Metcalf is another.
Oh,
Look at you go.
Gosh. Wait a minute. Oh, let me think real quick. Matt Corral.
Matt Corral.
Yeah, he's got to be on a roster, right?
I don't think so.
What? He got cut?
I think he got cut.
You're kidding me.
He's
Dang
not.
it. Oh, my gosh.
Think of some more receivers.
I can't think of any Ole Miss receivers. AJ Brown. I'm an idiot.
Brown.
I guess that's the most obvious one.
Nice.
That's it.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
All right. That's the most obvious one. That's the Eagles guy. Yeah, that's right. All right.
There's Laramie. You could have said Laramie Tunsil, Evan Ingram.
That guy. I still have some that
bitterness.
dang 2012 signing day drama at the Blind Pig. Hovies come to Georgia. Then we figure out Hugh Freeze was pulling some antics.
Right.
And we weren't getting tons. So I've always just not really cared for the guy after that. But anyway, okay.
Could also said Jonathan Mingo.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah. Okay.
I'll say Tavius Robinson. Oh, yeah, he played last year. He was an outside linebacker. Anyway.
Interesting.
So, yeah. Good job, Adam. I'm impressed
Well,
you
I
got
missed
that
the
one.
obvious one for a while there until the old brain had to catch up.
That's okay.
A little bit. Yep.
Yeah. All right, and then my last question here. You
Yes.
should be pretty good at this because you know your head coaches and where they've been. And
Maybe so.
yeah. Since the year 2001, Lane Kiffin has coached 5 different college football programs. Can you name them in order?
USC.
Yes, he started off at
USC co-coordinators during that run liner with Steve Sarkisian under Pete Carroll.
Mm-hmm.
And then just for trivia, then he went to the Raiders.
He sure did. 2007, 2008.
And then he went to Tennessee for one season and had to leave at midnight.
Yes.
And then he went to Southern California.
Right.
Got fired on the tarmac at LAX.
Yep.
And then went to Alabama's OC for
Yep.
14, 15, 16. And then 17, he went to Florida Atlantic, and now he's at Ole Miss.
Yep. Dang, you killed that. Golly, Adam. I'm impressed.
Go!
Man. Listen, if you need a good trivia partner at like a bar or a pizza.
It's got to be college football trivia.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
You need to just hire this guy and then pay him your winnings or something for a portion of it.
Just free pizza would be fine.
Really? You'd be there for a good time, wouldn't you?
Just there for a good fellowship.
I love it, Adam. You're salt of the earth.
Nice.
All right. Let's move on.
It's time to focus, Cole.
It's time to focus. The trivia
It's time
is
to
done.
focus, baby. I mean, this is big. We only got did you like that hop?
I like that. That was were you scooting up?
Yeah, I was kind of, but I went elevated. I didn't shimmy across the carpet. I pulled myself up and kind of hopped a little bit because it's time to dial it in, baby.
Yep.
I mean, we only got a few more of these left, and and this is the biggest one yet so far this season, which is going to lead to more bigger ones. And I'm ready for it.
Georgia,
I am here.
Ole
Let's
Miss.
go. Let's
the Georgia Bulldogs and the Ole Miss Rebels.
What about
Sanford
the Ole Mississippi
Stadium,
Rebels?
Athens,
the Sharks,
Georgia.
the Bears.
Yep. And then it's what, 7 o'clock kickoff.
7 o'clock. Probably I was going to say more about 7:03, 7:04. Toe will meet leather.
Nice.
Toe will meet leather.
ESPN, prime time,
ESPN.
baby.
Hey, the time has changed, baby, so it will mean that the kickoff will be when the stars are glistening over Sanford Stadium.
Man, I can't wait.
When there's probably a half crescent moon over Sanford, just a good crisp air, just night, fall weather, November weather, baby. Big time college football being played.
Can't wait. Adam, you know what this is going to be similar to in a
What
lot
is
of
it gonna be
ways?
similar to, Carl?
Georgia Notre Dame 2019.
Do you think?
I want that kind of environment.
You want that type of environment?
I think we might
So-
be getting it.
I think we will too. I think everybody's kind of ramped up. I think there's going to be some challenges about how we were against Missouri. Game day coming to town, you get all that hoopla. The circus is coming in. So why everybody's naturally just going to get some good instincts with that. A lot of chatter about it.
Right.
Work, school, and everywhere this week. So everybody's going to be juiced, man. I'm juiced. I'm ready. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go tailgate right now.
Oh man, wouldn't that be fun? Just blow off work and the responsibilities. Yeah, oh my gosh, Georgia.
Grubhub just deliver all week.
Why not? Yeah, camp out in tents or something. Georgia is 32-12-1 versus Ole Miss. Adam, you mentioned this earlier in the episode.
Yeah.
It used to be a pretty big rivalry.
Yeah, I mean, it was a rivalry. I think you would say. I mean, it's not up to the caliber of the Auburns, Texas, Clemsons, Tennessees, and Floridas of the world, all that good stuff, man. But I mean, still, it was a team. It was a respectful rivalry. I mean, they played every year from 1966 2002. Clark.
Wow.
Only lost 4 times in Sanford Stadium during that time span. Well, no. Period. Excuse me. Only lost in Sanford Stadium 3 times during that time span, according to my notes, which could be wrong.
And then the fourth would have been
1940.
Okay.
Before we entered World War II. At 1970, 1990, 1996. That's what I'm getting. Golly,
I know they've lost 4 times total. Or sorry, we've lost 4 times total in Sanford.
Yeah. Those are the years.
Yes. There you
1940,
go. Okay.
1970, 1990, 1996.
Yeah.
So, I mean, dominance. Who was the head coach of that 96 team, Clark, that came in and beat us? Do you know?
Have no clue.
He's a United States Senator now. I'm pretty sure.
Tommy Tuberville?
Yes, sir. Tommy Tuberville.
Really?
I'm pretty sure it was.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
So, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, 32-13-1. Fun fact, used to play them in, like, Jackson, Mississippi.
Really?
Man, yeah. So kind of a neutral site deal. And some of the early 80s, I believe. So, yeah, I mean, a fun, historic game.
Yep.
Two SEC teams, been around a long time, a lot of history, man. And a team that came between Sanford Stadium in a long time, man. You get Lane Kiffin. I mean, everybody knows about Lane Kiffin. It's tweeting and whatnot. So, gonna be exciting, high-flying offense. Quinshon Judkins, a guy had a lot of Heisman hype coming into the season and still a solid running back. And, somebody who's going to be tough to handle.
Absolutely. Ole Miss snapped a 10-game win streak in 2016, Kirby's first year. Adam, you and I remember that vividly. And I'll say this, I just remember walking. First of all, that was the hottest game I think I've ever been to in my life.
Yeah, it was tough.
It was awful.
It was awful.
But I remember walking out of that stadium after getting just demoralized.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, man, when is our time coming? Like, is Kirby the guy? I didn't feel totally down in the dumps. I mean, it was awful.
Well,
but you kind of had a glimmer of hope, you know?
You kind of, the excitement of Kirby being there, but also understanding it's a rebuild, man.
Right.
It's not his players. It was before you could just bring 12 million portal people in, right?
Yeah.
And, but, you won an exciting game against North Carolina, had the Nickel State debacle, won at the very end against Missouri, but then finally you have your loss, and it was hot. I think it was like 31-0 at half, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was all.
So,
it was over.
You look back, that's when kind of the foundation was being laid. And I just remember that game with Kirby Smart. He never just got tore up.
Right.
He was. That's when you could really see then, for people who weren't around during that time, foundation being laid. He was coaching them up all game, Clark, and using that as a learning opportunity for so many younger guys at that time, and even older guys. Of course, he was just coaching. I mean, you could just tell. I mean, it was just part of the rebuild, and that's just a stepping stone into where you see Georgia's program is now. Is from you getting to those points, that adversity that you had, what that talent was on that roster, to seeing where it is now, and it speaks a lot of him for the moments of just teachable moments in that game, especially with the secondary that was there. And you look at what was on the not discrediting any of those guys now, but the talent that's on the field now and where it is, man. It's fun to look back on that day and actually being there, witnessing that, and like you said, having that thoughts, man, when's it going to be our time? Golly, God, we just lose a freaking SEC West game, not show up to a SEC West opponent every year.
Yeah,
kind of was the thought back then, right? Going from the previous regime on, and then a couple years there between 16 and 17 Auburn. But anyway, so now here we are, get a chance to kind of avenge that loss. And it's exciting.
It is exciting indeed.
Big game.
UGA opens as 11.5 point favorites against the Rebels. That's a pretty hefty spread if you're asking me. I wouldn't touch this game if I were.
I would not.
Because this really could play out in a lot of different ways. It could be one of those things. I don't think it will be. Georgia, Arkansas, 2021. I don't think it's going to be that kind. It could be. If everything just goes really right for us and really wrong for them, it could definitely be that way. But I don't foresee that happening.
Yeah,
this is going to be a close matchup. A lot closer than I want it to be, than you want it to be, than
Kirby
or Lane wants it to be.
It will be, man. And we talked about how hard right before the Florida game, that 4-game stretch, because at that time there was still a little bit momentum with Florida, maybe trying to figure some things out. But we've seen that. But anyway, Florida, Missouri, Ole Miss, and Tennessee were like, golly, it's going to be tough. 4 SEC opponents to run the gauntlet in that, right? And so, hey, you're halfway there. You're 2-0 so far. Right. You're 2 for 2. So this game, I think, is this one, Clark, you think is going to be the toughest out of the 4?
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
And we said this preseason. I actually went back and listened to what we said about this game preseason, and I encourage you to as well. I said that this game scares me the most.
Yeah.
And you said before this episode started that you've never felt more nervous in the history of Rose 60 regular games. You said,
I agree with that. But I'm not sitting here just going to say Georgia's going to destroy them like I normally do, even though I'm red and black, and I've been burned on that. Maybe I've learned my lesson with it, but I just get 2 red and black shaded glasses, with that. But I was nervous about Tennessee last year, but I'm even more nervous about this one, Clark. I don't know why, because And, preseason, I was thinking we would overlook Ole Miss because we were going to head down with a showdown for the East against a potential top 10 one-loss or so Tennessee. That was kind of our mindset then, was you were overlooking going to Knoxville for the showdown for the East, right? That's kind of everybody was thinking the narrative would be. Now, no, it's the top 10 Ole Miss team coming in. And that's only lost to Alabama and Tuscaloosa, beat the LSU team that's pretty good. And it's tough. And it's tough to get up, I don't care who you are, emotionally. We talked about this last episode, against big opponents every single week, man. Yeah. Every single week, big games. So, but this is a big one, night game, game day coming in, man, in Sanford.
Yep. Ole Miss enters this matchup 8-1, and like you just said, one loss to Alabama. And Alabama, they held them to 10 points? It's 24-10. Big.
Yeah, I think they scored on like the second offensive possession, and nothing after that.
So let's talk about Ole Miss's offense just briefly here. I want to just read some numbers because I think this is kind of telling where they're at. First of all, this is a really good football team, no doubt. Both sides of the ball, pretty good, right? Yeah. I mean, truly. Tied for 15th in passing offense. They have 297 yards per game through the air. They've only fumbled one time this season. Let's make that 3 times after the Saturday. Average 181 rushing yards per game. They love feeding Quinshon Judkins, as you mentioned. Yep. Offensive line has given up 20 sacks this season. That's that's not great. No. It's really not that great. So maybe that's a weakness in this Ole Miss team and something that we can take advantage of.
Put number 11 on and out on the edge, man. Let them eat.
Yep. Total offense this season for Ole Miss, they have 38.8 points per game. It's pretty good. I mean, I think that's top 10, if not definitely top 15. This offense obviously utilizes tempo, and they do have the ability to score very, very quickly. Their time of possession is just pretty much non-existent, relatively speaking. Right. They just score quick. They're going to get up on the ball quick. Adam, what do you think we have to do defensively to slow them down?
Man, I think it's I think it's going to be tough, really, to limit this Ole Miss offense when they're clicking. So I think letting them get in the rhythm, man, is not letting them convert a lot of first down, like get a lot of positive yards on first down, and letting it be put them in a lot of second and long, third and long situations, Clark, because I think it opens Lane Kiffin's playbook even more when they're 2nd and 5, 2nd and 4, 2nd and 3 type deal, But if they get behind the sticks a little bit more and you create more 3rd and 11s, 3rd and 8s and stuff, then it kind of maybe you don't let them get in their tempo as much. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
So I think some of that, man, and I think containing Dart. We talk about this with elusive quarterbacks, man, but in a sense of I think it's going to be big to let the pocket collapse on him, in a sense, and not let him break containment and beat you with his legs. I ask you this, Clark, of course you're going to have a spy on Jackson Dart. I think Pop was the guy mainly spying, not the fastest guy in the world last week, but you think Smile will, or one of these younger middle linebackers, if 10's not going?
I'd say so. And
kind of rotating between the two, maybe
I don't know,
formations, different looks. But
my thing is, I think we're going to see a lot more blitzing on first down. Like you just mentioned, if you want to really, I think, what's the word? If you really want to slow down, maybe
set the tone and
slow down this Ole Miss offense. You got to be aggressive on first down. Yeah. That means you got to bring some pressure.
That's right.
And you got to tell these guys you got to challenge your secondary this week.
I was about to say, if you're going to do that, baby, you got to man up. You have some man-on-man situations and some stuff that
because going back to this stat, they've given up 20 sacks this season, right?
That's right.
And I've watched a little Ole Miss to know that if you can collapse that pocket, Jackson Dart, I mean, he's not the most slippery kind of guy, right? Like, he can get out. He can hurt you with his legs, but he's not like a Caleb Williams kind of guy in talent,
right? Where
he's just going to make these crazy, insane plays with his legs. So get to the quarterback on first down. I think that is one of the biggest things. And then, once again, you got to challenge your guys out on the perimeter.
And they have that receiver from Kent State last year that's transferred in.
What's his name?
The Cephas kid. Is it Quintez Cephas?
I guess
something. So. Yeah, he was a Kent State wide receiver last year that we played in Sanford. So I think he's a big body guy, man. And I'm ashamed to say I don't really know much about receiver core for Ole Miss.
I got you. Okay, here we go. Good. So here's some names to look out for, and I took some notes here. Trey Harris, number 9. This guy is a freak.
Okay.
Leading receiver, he is averaging 19.7 yards per catch this season. This is their kind of rah-rah Marcus Rosemy, Jack Saint kind of guy. He's going to get up in the air, kind of a taller receiver. I think he's like 6'2", something. But he's going to win those 50-50 balls. He had a what?
Quincy Cephas is a wide receiver for the Detroit Lions.
Oh, he got drafted.
Who's the guy? All right, I'm going to figure it out. Sorry. Yeah, no. This is a different. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, proceed. Sorry.
Anyway, Trey Harris, solid, absolute, incredibly talented receiver. He's one of the best in the nation. Definitely one of the best in the SEC. You could argue he is the best, but after watching Malik Neighbors last week, God, that kid's a freak too.
Yeah.
But Trey Harris, definitely, that's who you're going to probably see Kamari Laster lining up in front of. And then they also have two more guys, Dayton Wade, number 19, and Jordan Watkins, number 11. Two other senior wide receivers. They've got some veterans on this core, and they love to target these guys. So
Dante Cephas is who I was thinking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Is he still on the team?
5,
I don't even
maybe?
know. This just got me. Wait, he's with Penn State. Never mind. Forget that. I don't even know if they have one. I'm 0 for 2. Forget that. Move on to the next thing.
Okay.
He's for Penn State. Now, I don't know where I got he went to Ole Miss.
Well,
if he did, whatever. Who cares? Who cares? It doesn't matter. Trey, yeah.
And then we talked about this name already. Quinshon Judkins, 169 carries on the year, 793 yards, 12 touchdowns. He's going to get he's going to get his touches this game. Just a freak, man. And we got to slow him down.
Absolutely, man. You can't let them get balanced. I think that's the big thing is I think first you stop the run, right? I mean, you stop the run and you make Ole Miss one-dimensional.
Yeah.
And you make Jackson Dart beat you with his arm.
Right.
You know?
I think that is the game plan.
That's what you do, man. That's the key to success against all of them is you never want to go up against an offense that can do anything they want to on the ground or through there, man. Right. And let them get balanced. So and that's what Georgia is. You stop the run. You don't let them get the run, man. You know, and especially gash you and bite off 6 or 7 and make it second, third, second, forward like I was talking about, second and short. So now I think that is the thing, man. You key in on the run and then you make Jackson Dart beat you there.
Yeah, I agree. Ole Miss's defense, Adam, not necessarily a pushover. I mean, this is arguably the best Lane Kiffin defense he's ever had.
Well, Pete Golden is defense coordinator from Alabama last year, man. So
yeah, I mean, they're doing pretty well. They give up roughly 228 passing yards per game, which is pretty average. So if I'm looking at this as a Georgia fan, I like this matchup.
Right.
They're going to bring pressure, no doubt about it. It's going to look a lot like last week, Missouri.
Right.
Their front is not that bad. I don't know if they're as good as Missouri, but they will still bring pressure to Carson and try to get him, off balance. But yeah, they've got a very physical, quick defense front. They create turnovers. I think they're top 10 or so in the nation in terms of turnover margin. So they create turnovers. So we got to look out for this team. I mean, they're very well balanced this year. I don't know anything about their kicking game. I wish I did.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it either, man. But no, that's a good rundown, man. I mean, a lot of people won't realize, including myself, how good Ole Miss, really kind of by the numbers, has been defensively from historic Ole Miss numbers.
Right.
Man. You think about it, since Lane's been there, you think about Ole Miss being able to name their score, but then lose games 52-41, or, I mean, more realistic score like, about 49-42 or something.
Right.
Whether you see a lot, 42-35, whatever. So, I mean, obviously Pete Golden has done a good job his first year in, and they've utilized the portal, I'm sure, trying to add some depth and some playmakers to that defense. And still a defense, though, Clark, I think Georgia can have its way with, man, and Mike Bobo and staff can. So I think it's going to be a game where you're going to see both teams kind of score high 20s to 30s.
Yeah. What if this game was, I'm not saying it is going to be, but what if this game was like a 56-52 kind of shootout?
No,
my heart can take that.
No, thank you.
Oh, my gosh.
No, thank you.
Hey, here's a couple. I'm going to leave y'all with this, talking about Ole Miss here. Here's some Ole Miss weaknesses, all right?
Yes.
They are
what
ranked.
I want to hear.
Yeah, I like to find some stats, some weaknesses, some numbers. Numbers don't lie, right?
That's right.
They are ranked 96th in the nation on third down conversions, only converting 36% of the time. Dogs on the other side of the ball, we are third in the nation in third down percentage defense, only giving up 26%
That's key, man.
of the time. That's huge.
That's huge getting off the field on third down, man, because that's demoralizing when you give up 3rd and 8, third and 7, you don't get off the field, man. So I like that. That's a good stat, man. So let's get them in those third down situations to be able to eat.
Well, and we better hope we get them in third down situations and stop them because, you want to stop them like 4th and 6th and beyond because Lane Kiffin is known to just go for it on 4th downs. And that's something that we've got a game plan for. And you've got to be able to keep your third down package defense on the field. Right. You can't do any of that rotating crap. So that's something you're probably going to see Kirby Smart implement is like, hey, this 3rd down, we're going to need you for 4th down too. You're going to see a lot of, I believe you will see some punt safe returns, right? I don't think we're going to get a whole lot of return yardage with the punt game this year, or this week, excuse me, because, hey, like I said, Lane loves going for it on 4th down. Yeah. And it doesn't matter where it's at on the field a lot of times. Yeah. So
I tell you what, man, I think so too for our defense is going to be limiting the explosives. Piggybacking off of that, man, is how you get them in them 3rd down situations, you limit explosives for them to be able to push the ball downfield and score on quick shots. They're averaging 10 yards per pass attempt.
That's a 1st down every time they throw the ball.
Yeah,
on average.
So exactly. So you limit that, man. Kind of make them uncomfortable. Don't let them play their game. Be disruptive.
Right.
Limit explosives. Right. Get off the field on 3rd down, man. And just cause some havoc, baby. That's what Georgia defense does. They cause havoc, especially in situations like this when there's people doubting them, man. When you got these high-flying offenses coming in, this is where Georgia's defense eats. This is where I love being a fan of a defensive football team. That's like the identity. Even though I know our offense is dang good this year, and it's been complimentary the past couple of years. But when you think of Kirby Smart football and how you win championships at the University of Georgia, baby, it's through defensive football, 100%. Man, and eating against these high-powered offenses.
Yep. Ole Miss, too, here's another weakness of theirs. Heavily penalized team. Good. Ranked 117th in the nation, averaging 62 yards in penalties per game. That's big, y'all. That's big. And, they've gone on the road. They went to Alabama. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. They've been to a couple places on the road this year, but, man, I don't know if they're going to face anything like they will this week. I said that last week.
That's right.
But really this week.
That's right.
It's going to be a raucous environment in Sanford. I can't wait. And then one last thing I want to say about Ole Miss, one weakness. They're very prone to give up lots of tackles for loss. They rank in the bottom of the barrel in that category for allowing tackles for losses. So that could be huge.
Yeah. That's going to be big.
So all that to say, how do you feel about this game, big. Adam? You still feel good?
Yeah, I feel good, Clark. I feel good. I'm just not as confident because, you can definitely see that this is a talented team like Missouri is, but a team that you could get beat if you don't show up. I think this is a game where you do have to bring your A game.
Certainly.
If Ole Miss brings their A game as well, Clark. So, but I feel good, and I feel good about Georgia. I feel good about what the environment will be. I feel good about the game plan, the defensive game plan. There's nobody else that I'd rather have scheming against Lane Kiffin than Kirby Smart and Glenn Schumann and Will Muschamp, this defensive staff, man. And I really do think the offense is going to have a good day. And feeling good about it, Clark.
Okay, good.
Feeling good about it. I am. We're going to be all right.
Okay.
We're going to be all right.
All right, well, let's wrap this thing up. Hey, if you have enjoyed this episode, please make sure to leave us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, let us know what you think about the Ole Miss Rebels coming in.
Yeah, let us know, man. What's your score prediction?
My score prediction?
Well, I was telling the people. Let them know.
Yeah, we want to know their score prediction. That'd be fun. That'd be fun. My score prediction, Adam. Dogs, give me the dogs.
Yeah.
Oh, this pains me.
Give it to me, though, baby.
I don't know if I picked the game this close. I got to change it right quick.
Oh, you're going to change it?
Adam, I think it's going to be 38-33.
Dogs. Yeah, realistic.
5-point victory.
Yeah, I can see it.
The computer ran it like 20,000 times. That's how they simulate. They simulated this game 20,000 times. That's kind of what they're thinking. And the spread is 11, right? That's what Vegas says, but the computers say Georgia won by like a margin of 4 or 5 points.
Okay.
So I'm gonna stick with that. 38-33.
I like it, baby. I like it.
What say you, Adam?
I'm going to go with this, Clark. I'm going to go that Georgia's going to win this game. I kid you not. I think 38 points is a good point. But I think Ole Miss is going to score 27, baby.
Okay. All right. 38-27.
38-27, baby. Yes,
nice. Okay.
That's it.
All right. Let's go. Let's do it.
That's what I'm thinking.
Man.
That's what I'm thinking. So, I think it's going to be a fun day. It's going to be tight. I think it's going to be a game that hopefully Georgia pulls away with in the fourth quarter. Cement, sir. Yes, sir.
We got to win this football game, y'all.
We got to, baby. We got to.
All right, Adam. Anything else you want us to say?
I'm telling you, man, I'm already juiced about it. I'm ready to go right now. I mean, this is what you are a Georgia fan for, Clark. What we have grown to expect. Why Sanford Stadium is so tough to play in, man, because this is a team that you don't lose in Sanford Stadium. You don't lose in Sanford Stadium. College Game Day's been here how many times the past couple of years, man?
Lots.
The eyes of the college football world will be in Athens, Georgia, to see if Ole Miss can beat Georgia and if they can finally slay this dragon, this team that everybody's just tired of. Everybody's tired of Georgia. Everybody's tired of the favorite football team that you have. They're tired of hearing about win streaks. Tired of hearing about this is the 26th game that Georgia's going to win consecutively. Tired of Georgia. And everybody and their brother will be pulling for Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss coming to Athens and shut Georgia up. It's not going to happen, Clark.
Yes, sir.
Georgia's going to be the more physical football team and win the battle of the trenches. And that is how you win championships and how you win in this league. It will always be how you win in this league. Georgia's going to win this football game. Like I said, 38-27. It's going to be a fun night. 2 ranked wins in a row, Clark. 2 top 15 wins in a row. And everybody's going to be saying, oh, what happened to Georgia this week's schedule?
Yeah.
They just rattled off 2 ranked wins in a row, 2 top 15 wins, and going on the road to get another one, baby. And a march to a 3rd straight 12-0 season, Clark. I can't wait, man. This is when football is at its best. Everybody this week, enjoy the moment, baby. College Game Day, primetime game in Athens. Wear your red and black to work or school every single day. Talk with people about it and really just enjoy getting fired up about this football game. Lose your voice on Saturday. Rest up because it's got to be all attention on the dogs on Saturday, baby. It's time to go. It's time to let it rip and let the big dog eat, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go, dogs.
Go, dogs. Ooh, 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 ooh.